to work in a nursing home. And I had this patient that we would say she's pleasantly confused. Because in the past, I've had some patients that they knew that they were losing memory. So it would create, you know, frustration. They would lash out, or they would try to hide it by avoiding questions that they couldn't answer. But this patient, she was very different. When you saw her, she was always smiling. Yeah, she would ask you some things, you know, more than one time. It may be 50 in a minute. I mean, or in a couple of minutes, she's asking the same thing, but she didn't realize that she was doing that. Therefore, she was just full of peace, full of love, always smiling. I thought, wow, what a beautiful life that she has. Because looking on the outside, she was in a nursing home. This nursing home that I worked in, the staff would call it the bottoms. It was, this is the lowest point that anyone could go. And they weren't really referring to their patients, although some patients, you know, would be considered not to have much in that nursing home. But the staff that was there were pretty, it was just, I would say, wild. I mean, everything was going on in that nursing home. And I stayed there for a while, you know, until even I felt like, well, yeah, this is enough here. But when you look around, you know, this patient, she always had a smile on her face, and she was living in the moment, literally in the moment. She could not remember the next moment. If you told her something, then you ask her, what did I ask you, you know, to do? Or what tasks are we to perform next? She could not reenact it, or she could not tell you what you told her. She'd gotten to a point where she could not even recognize her own children. Yet, she was full of love and light. She always had a smile on her face. She was always pleasant and happy. And she could have failed maybe 30 minutes ago, and she would still have that smile on her face. Just as fast as it was over, you know. And I thought, what a beautiful life. Because like I said, if you looked on the outside, in that nursing home, they had the old beds where you would have to crank up, and mattresses that had not been changed in years. I was there, how many years was I there? Probably about 8 years, and they were old when I got there. And these mattresses were about this thick on hinges that were, the patients, a lot of patients said were very uncomfortable. And if you looked around the room, the same. The building was an older building. You know, there were staff that were cleaning it, but, you know, depending on what shift you were in, you had better staffs on some shift than others. The food, you know, it, to the eye, would look marginally nutritious, even though it was in a nursing home. Didn't look appetizing to me, I have to say. The coffee smelled of old socks. I can remember tasting the coffee, and I thought, man, if I wasn't, I don't know how urine tasted, but it sure smelled like it, and I felt like it tasted like that too. Although maybe it was just coffee. I wasn't a huge coffee drinker. But this lady, she always had a smile on her face. She was oblivious to what we could see with the eyes. She was oblivious to the smells that you could smell walking through that nursing home. She was oblivious to the staff, who was marginally productive at times. And she met every moment just with joy. And that's all she knew, was the moment. The mind had gotten to the point where it could not retrieve anything, and it didn't look forward to anything. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful life that lived. And I can remember telling one of my coworkers, I said, wow, just to live like she's living, you don't even know. I mean, you're just full of joy every day because you're in the moment, regardless of the changing that's around you, regardless of what the status is, or the conditions, or the environment, or the experience. You're just enjoying the moment. That's what I would call home. Home is that place where everybody who had yet to realize themselves is looking for. It's just that peace that surpasses all understanding. When one can say it is well with my soul, there's a joy in that, and that beingness. You can recognize yourself from all the external content of the day, all environmental changes, all political situations, all the chaos of the mind, the sensations of the body, beyond the fear of my life, what's going on with my life, beyond the storylines of family and children and work and deadlines, meetings, beyond the challenges, beyond the accomplishments. There is a rest. And if we can meet each day in the moment, each moment in the now, there's a peace that surpasses all understanding. There's a rest. There's that true awareness that is beyond limitations, beyond concepts, beyond shapes, beyond forms. Just like my patient, where she met every day, every moment really, with joy. We can find that rest in the quiet spaces of your heart. So just try to sit with yourself and recognize home. It will be beyond thoughts, beyond limitation, beyond all boundaries, beyond identity of who I am, beyond the sensations of the body, beyond the chattering of the mind. When you unveil everything that you can take away, just sit with that quiet space within your heart. And if all you can sit is 5 minutes a day, that's enough. And then each day do that over and over. And even if you're working, if there's some outside noise or activity as you're washing dishes, open your heart and sit with yourself, even in a dynamic activity. But if you can, go find a corner to sit in, a quiet space, just to sit with yourself every day. Some people, they have a hard time sitting with themselves. As soon as it gets quiet, the mind starts telling them 100 things they need to do. Oh, I need to go check the mail. I need to do this. I need to do that. Before you know it, the day is gone with all that I need to do. But you have to recognize that, because the mind doesn't want to be replaced, and it'll put fear there. Oh, it'll be the end of me. It's a trap. It tells you all kind of things to keep you distracted from your true nature. But you have to really look beyond that and be persistent beyond all of the chaos of the mind, and beyond the doubt and the fear and the judgment and the raging, and beyond the stories, beyond the actions of the day, beyond the identity. Just sit with yourself each day. You don't have to call it anything. It doesn't have to be meditation. Be silent sitting. Doesn't have to be a practice. Because once you start a practice, you feel like, you know, once the practice is gone, then, you know, that's over. Some people, they can be quiet for a long time. But when you ask them to just be, it's hard to just be. To stay in that knowing, that true source of themselves. So I just challenge you to do that this week. Just sit with yourself each day, so you can be in the moment, and watch those worries dwindle away. And the now is where you'll find yourself. It's where you'll find home. Worry is not in the now. Worry is always linked to a projection or, you know, a past rehearsal of something. So, yeah. That's what came up today. And something else came up, you know, while I was here. And I was going to talk about that. It said, come into being. And I thought, how do you do that? Can we come into our true nature? Is our true nature always shining, just veiled behind our experiences, you know, our conditioning, our beliefs? Are we ever really gone and then here? Being is, you know, that true nature. So we never really come into something that we're already are, that's everywhere. It's just a recognition of that being. Now, that was just a throw-in. Anyway, thank you for sharing this moment with me. Remember that you are beautiful, and I love you. Bye.